Thank you, everyone, and welcome back to Hollywood Headliners, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. Actually, Hollywood, right in the middle. Sunset Gower. This is an old studio. Used to be the Columbia Studios, run by Harry Cohn. This is a studio where they do things like Dexter and Hollywood Headliners, and Dexter and Hollywood Headliners. Great to have you with us. We're going to talk about summer movies this evening. I want to remind you, though, if you can, check us out on our new YouTube channel. Yeah, baby. We're in the big time now. Yes, our YouTube channel, Hollywood Headliners, and you've got all sorts of videos. In fact, we have our new Senior Executive Vice President of Post-Production and Camera Work. Amber Hannon is our new intern. She's here. We'll have to show you on camera a little bit later. Welcome, Amber. Nice to have you.
Do a 180.
Yeah, we'll flip her around.
Selfie time.
Yeah, we'll flip her around.
Selfie.
Okay, are you guys ready for a hot show tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, betcha.
Can I introduce our panel tonight?
Please.
We have a great panel this evening. As a matter of fact, let's just take a look. There they are. Look at that. They've been here since 4 o'clock drinking, so they are totally prepped for the show tonight. Let me tell you. First of all, on the left of your screen, National Super Uber Movie Critic with Deadline.com and a longtime friend, an old cohort from Entertainment Tonight, Pete Hammond.
Hey. Hello.
Next to Pete, Film Critic from Cumulus Radio and Hollywood Correspondent for HGTV, Lisa Johnson Mandell. Whoops.
Wow.
What did you got screwed on that one, Lisa.
You cut short her clap.
And last but certainly not least, he is the producer of Just Seen It, which is a really, really fun PBS show. If you guys have not seen this, it's a weekly movie and TV review show televised over 200 public TV stations. David Freeman. Panel, welcome. It's so great to have you here. Thank you for being with us.
We're happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Pete, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Lisa, being with HGTV, by the way, has said that she's going to redecorate our studio tonight. And at the end of the show, we're going to love it or list it. Yay! What do you do as a Hollywood reporter for HGTV? You report if J-Lo's buying new pillows or something?
No, I have the worst job in Hollywood. I have to go into celebrity homes and all the most gorgeous places that people live in, buildings and everything, and report on them. Wow. It's really quite
You ever
amazing.
lifted anything out of theirs, like a little souvenir?
My bag is full.
See, the truth comes out. David, great to see you. David, we have an Entertainment Tonight connection.
We do. 30 years ago.
No way.
I know. 30 years ago.
Can't you change the date to protect the innocent?
3 years ago. 3 months ago, I was an intern on Entertainment Tonight when you were on Entertainment Tonight 30 years ago.
Wow.
God bless us. And like I said, we both have our hair.
Yeah.
So we're doing good.
I know. We got our hair and our health, and
Thank God.
Man. Pete, do you remember when David was there as an intern?
I was there. I barely remember when I was there, David. But
That's okay.
But I'm ashamed to say I was there 30 years ago.
Wow.
31 years ago.
I
Great
remember
time to be there.
the intern I remember was Melissa Rivers.
We had Melissa Rivers. Joan Rivers' daughter was an intern, and I remember Kirk
I was
Kerkorian's
going to
daughter.
say Linda was
Linda
there.
Kerkorian.
Right.
But she would just take off, and I remember when she just took off and went to Rio and didn't tell the head of the research department, and that was the end of Linda.
And what, you're complaining? It was Kirk Kerkorian's daughter, for crying out
what the
loud.
hell, you know?
Yeah, say, why can't you get a gig like that?
Right?
Yeah.
I'm saying she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, no kidding. Absolutely. Well, it's great to have you all here.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
The summer movie season is heading toward its dog days.
It's there already.
Yeah. What was it like for the summer movies this year? Pete, start us off.
Well, the summer movies, I think, it's so predictable to me, summer movie season now. They basically schedule release dates rather than movies, and they make these movies for these release dates, which they have down for the next 3 summers. So, you open with, that's the big one. Iron Man 3 was right at the beginning of summer.
I mean, why is this happening? Where did we get into this kind of weird
I think the whole summer idea started years ago with Jaws. That
Yeah.
became the first real summer movie.
Yeah.
And then slowly Hollywood decided, well, that worked, so it'll work again, and it'll work again. And so the world of sequels came upon us in a big way. And I think that's where we're stuck right now, even though some of them are very good, like Iron Man, which is a huge,
Well, Iron Man 3 started it off.
Yeah. Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And wow, everybody loved it. It's done $1.2 billion
Yes.
globally, worldwide, China, Russia with the hookers and everything. And it's like in Russia, you had to take a hooker to see the movie. It was like part of it, one of the deals. But it's done very, very well. But then things kind of fell off a little bit, David.
Well, I'm actually the sci-fi geek, I think, here. I'd like to think that. And it didn't fall off for very long because of Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yes.
Excellent.
It's another hit.
Another huge hit. And as a sci-fi geek, I was really looking forward to the summer. I think this was the summer in the longest time where we had so many sci-fi movies.
A zillion of them.
A zillion of them. Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah.
And J.J. Abrams does this homage to Raiders of the Lost Ark at the beginning.
Yeah.
And
Did you like Star Trek?
I loved the movie, and then when you throw in
Wonderful.
Raiders homage at the beginning, it's like porn. For
Lisa,
me.
did you like
Just
it?
watch it
Were
over
you a
and
Star Trek
over.
fan?
Oh, and I thought it was fabulous.
Yeah.
In our household, we're very, very sci-fi oriented, and we loved it across the board.
Okay, so those two kick pretty good butt. I almost said kick ass too, but we'll get to that in a little while.
Not so much.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
So those two started off strong, and I think hopes were high.
Yeah. And then came Will Smith's After Earth.
There's our second sci-fi show of this.
And that movie made one key problem. You have Will Smith, arguably one of the biggest, if not the biggest movie star.
Mr. July.
Mr.
Summer July.
Had all these movies, and what do? They give him a role where he's sitting in a chair throwing out advice. Some people think Scientology code.
No.
While his
Hollywood?
son is doing all the action, and his son, like him a lot in Karate Kid, but he can't carry a film. And
Not yet.
I
Bless
could
his
not
little
agree with.
heart.
I could not agree with Pete more. God bless him. He's he did his best, but it's really a two-person movie. And when you go to a Will Smith movie, you go to see Will Smith.
Right.
You want to see personality,
Right.
and part of what his character was, no personality.
Okay, so then let me ask you this question, because you guys are insiders. You know all the deepest, darkest secrets of Hollywood. Are we getting to the point where the stars are having a little too much say and controlling some of the ways the movies go? I won't mention Johnny Depp's name in Lone Ranger yet.
No.
But, are we sort of seeing that this happen, and maybe they're taking it a little off course?
I think so. I think, the studios need to rein them in, because these are very expensive movies, and they basically let Will Smith do whatever he wants, hire his kid. He's producing Annie, which at one time he had his daughter cast in, but she got too old. They couldn't get the movie made in time.
Wait. You were Annie.
I was Annie.
How
I
old?
hear I look young.
Music cue, Rob?
Sing something from Annie.
Oh, yeah, let's hear
Oh, you're not put on. You're not put on the spot now at all. Say, come on, sing for us, honey.
Did you audition for the Will Smith movie?
They didn't call me.
For
they will.
crying out loud.
They will.
Jeez,
Never
you could've
say
been-
never.
Yeah, but to your point,
Yeah.
exactly. He's kind of doing maybe too much stuff. or-
That's right, and I think that he needs to look at what his audience is out there too, and get back to that. I think the whole problem with a lot of this stuff is they make these movies, like I said, they make these release dates, but they don't have the script. And the movie that opened opposite.
Well, wait a minute. How can they not have the script, Pete? This
Well-
is ridiculous. These are $100 million, $200 million movies.
Last year they did Men in Black 3, another Will Smith movie, and they shut it down for several months because Will wanted to rewrite it. So they had started shooting it, they shut it down, and then they redid it. It was
But
enormously
the best example
expensive.
of a script was, our script fix was World War Z.
World
Yeah.
War
Yeah.
Z, an
Another
excellent
one.
movie, a
Right.
pleasant surprise.
And-
as
I
far as
liked
I was
it.
concerned.
In fact, I was really shocked by that. I had heard that World War Z was in nothing but trouble.
Yes, it was.
Big time trouble. And then we did a little interview with Mark Forrester, and he was wonderful, by the way, very sharp guy. Went and saw the movie, and I thought World War Z came
But
out really good.
all credit
I
to the
was very
studio.
impressed
They
with
took
it.
the time
They took the time.
and the budget to rewrite the third act.
And they didn't have a third act. That's the
That's right.
problem. But they started the movie because they said Brad Pitt was available,
Right.
and they had to go. And so that's the pressure of making these big blockbusters. Like I said, they had a date, but they didn't have a movie.
Yeah.
And they had to write it. And in this case, they got lucky, and it became Brad Pitt's biggest hit ever.
Yeah,
So.
and I thought it was really good. Did you like it, Lisa?
Oh, I loved it. And I think that's the summertime is all about the big box office stars. But then you shift into the fall and into the award season, and it's all about the directors. And I think you're going to
Yeah.
see more and more of that because the stars are just not driving films anymore. It's all about the directors, and that's what we're going to see coming up.
And the stars are not driving films, are they, as much, David?
Well, we'll go back to After Earth. It was a vanity project. I really don't know how else to put it. and it was Will Smith's vanity project, and it didn't do well at the box office. It didn't even do very
Oh,
well.
it was an embarrassment.
Yeah, and it didn't do well internationally. And we have to talk about The Lone Ranger as the next
Yes.
movie.
Well,
But what about the movie that opened opposite After Earth? Something nobody was expecting. I saw it very early. I had never even heard of it. Called Now You See Me.
Yes.
And it had Woody Harrelson.
and I loved Now You See
Yeah,
Me.
me
and
too.
A lot of critics didn't like it.
No, I loved it.
In fact, no one had just seen it liked it.
Very
except
cool
me.
idea.
Yeah, no, I loved it, and I saw it, and I didn't think it was going to be a huge hit because I thought it was going to get buried. Oh, you're releasing it against Will Smith's movie and all this stuff.
Counter-programming.
It turned out the audience sniffed it out. It actually had stuff they wanted to see, and it didn't matter if it was a pre-sold title, as they say in the business. It just shows you.
And
that,
it stayed. And it stuck around for a little while, didn't
for
it?
almost
Yes,
the
it
whole
did.
summer.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that by any chance?
I haven't
Loved
seen it
it.
yet.
Loved
But
it.
it's one you want to see.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
Absolutely.
I was in Russia with the hookers that weekend.
Oh,
For you.
What was the big? Let me throw out some general things here, and I'll have to take a break here in a second. But let me throw. What was the biggest shock of the summer?
for who? For Jerry
Yeah.
Bruckheimer, it was the Lone Ranger. Like,
Okay, so you think Lone Ranger was the biggest shock?
Well, I think they expected a lot more, considering Johnny Depp was the star, and Johnny Depp has been foolproof in these kinds of things. But again, it's a Western, and I don't know why they should be so shocked.
Westerns
you know.
haven't done well
Yeah.
traditionally.
It's
and-
old.
Say, anyone under 25, any of your friends are Westerns on your map? Do they care about it?
As my
You know, I've seen The Searchers, old
Okay.
Western.
Old
Nice.
Western.
That's a great Western.
Loved that Western movie. I haven't seen Lone Ranger yet.
Right, but the
But
point
as my
the
son
point
says,
of-
the movie really was Tonto,
yes.
and they called it the Lone Ranger, and that's why my son, same age as say,
yeah.
86'd it.
Yep.
No interest.
Yeah.
It was a mixed bag of messages coming across.
Yes.
Now, Larry Shaw, who was with us last week, is a director who's done a lot of TV stuff. He loved the movie. He said, people actually didn't go to see the movie, but it was really kind of a fun movie. The buzz just was really bad.
I think I blame the critics. I blame the critics. The critics decided.
Would
they
that be
were in
Lisa and David?
Yeah, and me.
No,
Yeah.
no, I
I'm a
actually
reviewer,
liked the
not-
movie.
I liked it too, but I blame the critic. It looked like they were piling onto this movie.
Yeah, they really did.
and there's some movies that they do that with, and I couldn't overcome that buzz to the point where now Johnny Depp actually had a press conference with Jerry Bruckheimer where they blamed the critics for it,
Yeah,
which
but
I
that
don't
movie,
think
but that
was-
movie was beginning to smell during production.
Well,
And
yeah,
I
they
happened to
shut
be
it
in
down.
Albuquerque when they were filming it.
It had lots of trouble.
And they had to shut
for,
it down.
for Hollywood headliners doing
went out.
subversive.
The movie was out of control, and,
Yeah.
Johnny Depp and other stars had to give back salary to keep that thing in production.
But it had some spectacular scenes, and it was fun. The train stuff I thought was great. The horse was great.
You know, they made that
The horse
train.
was great.
They made that train for the movie. That was not a
Yeah.
train they went out and bought. They actually made that engine for the movie, which helps to drive up the cost.
$250 million.
And you know what? I thought
But
that
what about-
$250 million showed up on the screen. I liked the film. My quote was, "He had me at hi-ho."
You're such a sucker for Armie Hammer.
I don't know anybody under 60 who didn't love that film.
Yeah. It's
That's
interesting.
what it was made for.
But and Gore Verbinski, who Disney made. I mean, they really turned him into a top director with all the Caribbean movies. It didn't really kind of pull through.
Well, that's what this movie was. It
Yeah.
was Pirates of the Caribbean in the desert.
Yeah, that's a problem. It did have some problems, though.
It was an exercise in excess. Way too long.
Agreed.
Let's take a little break. When we come back, I want to talk about the biggest surprises of the summer. And we've got lots to talk about in terms of Oscar buzz. You're listening to Hollywood Headliners. I'm Robb Weller. Thank you for joining us this evening on UBN Radio. Stay with us.